Hi, and welcome to Penn Central 99's channel. I'm Terry, and this is the River Mountain Model Railroad. I'm in the garage today because it's Workshop Wednesday. On this episode, I thought I would make some cosmetic changes to my DCC system. Let's go ahead and head into the layout and we'll get started. My DCC system is the Digitrax DCS51. I primarily use a DT402 with two UP5 spaced at various points around the layout. Here's the DT402 plugged into a UP5. Basically what I want to do is I want to get rid of this decorative sticker that's on the faceplate of the UP5. You can see here the corners are already starting to peel off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the DT402 out of the way. I'm going to unscrew the four screws that hold it into the benchwork, and then we can go ahead and disconnect the UP5 plug-ins and just take the faceplate out and repaint it. So we'll just go ahead and disconnect the plug, grab a screwdriver, start taking out these screws. Okay, now that the faceplate is loose, we can just pull this out of the benchwork and go ahead and unplug the Loconex cable for that. We'll take off these two screws here, which will separate the components from the faceplate. That's one screw. You heard it hit the floor. Here's the other screw. And now you can see we have two pieces. Now I can just take that faceplate, peel the rest of that sticker off there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray paint it black to match the fascia that I'm going to install. Okay, I did manage to get the remainder of the sticker backing off of there, but as you can see there's a little bit of glue residue on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some goof off and an old rag and try and remove that. Word of caution, if you use a razor blade to try and scrape this off, be careful. The razor blade is tougher than this aluminum. I'm going to take some of that goof off over there and put it on a rag and wipe it off. Now, if you're not happy with that and you don't like to do that, you can always just flip it over and use the other side that does not have anything on it. But I'm just going to go ahead and get that glue residue off of there. I think this goof off is some of the best stuff there is to get glue residue off of just about any surface. You know, I use it on fiberglass, I've used it on glass, and here you can see I'm using it on aluminum. Takes it off pretty good. Just takes a few seconds and a little bit of rubbing to get it off of there, and that glue residue is gone. Now, if you're not happy with these little bit of scratches that are in this aluminum, so like I said, this aluminum is pretty soft, scratches pretty easy. You can either take some very fine sandpaper, or what I'm going to use here is I'm going to use a fingernail file, and I'm just going to rub on these edges here, and you can see I'm already starting to get those little blemishes out. And I've already done one of these. So there you can see I've kind of sanded that down a little bit. Plus you probably need to do that too to get the primer to bond a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sanding that other one, and then we'll go ahead and start painting. So after sanding, I went ahead and put the plates on some skewers and stuck the skewers in a piece of foam so I could spray paint them. As you can see, I'm just using your basic automotive primer. That is a dark gray, so we'll go ahead and get a base coat on there so we can get them painted. As you can see, the primer coat is pretty much dry. It's about 75 degrees out today, and it's been about an hour since we sprayed it, so it's pretty dry. I'm going to use this Rust-Oleum semi-gloss enamel. This is anodized bronze. I was going to use a flat black, but for some reason the tube on that can is clogged. I can't get anything out of it. So I want to go ahead and get this primer coat covered so we can move on with the next step. Okay, we got a pretty decent coat on there. Let's go ahead and leave that sit and dry overnight before we check it again. Well, it's been 24 hours since we painted these, so let's go ahead and get them back together, and we'll get them back in the layout. Okay, putting these together takes about 3 hands because there's 2 pieces and then you got screws. Luckily, if you don't already have one, I would suggest getting a magnetic screwdriver so that you can help hold the parts, because like I say, this is about, you need about 3 hands to do this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the internal components of the UP5 and I'm going to lay the cover plate over top of that and kind of steady that so I can get the screw head started in there. Okay, that's started. Grab another screw here. Okay, so you can see that that's a magnetic screwdriver. All right, so get this together. I'm going to over tighten this stuff. These are electric components. Alright, that's together. That looks kind of nice. I like that better than the other silver one. I'm not too entirely thrilled with this color. Maybe on another episode, get some fascia up and then paint the fascia black, and then maybe paint these like a Penn Central jade green, but we're going to go with this for now. So now that I've got that together, I can go ahead and feed the Loco net cable through, hook it together, You heard it snap. And I'm gonna put this in there. Grab my screws. Gonna get one of these lined up. We're just gonna get it started there. Line up this corner. Get that started. Got 2 more screws on this plate. And like I said, I have another one on the other side of the layout here. But I'm just going to show you one. Oh, that's pretty secure. I like it. It looks better than it did before. I will definitely take that. Had it not been for letting the paint dry overnight, this is a pretty quick and easy project. Normally, this is just an hour or so taking things apart, putting it back together. But since we primed and painted, you got to let that dry before you can do anything. But like I say, had it not been allowing the paint to dry overnight, this is just an hour or 2 project. Something short and simple and sweet, things that you can do to make your DCC equipment look a little bit better on your layout. Here is the UP5 that's on the other side of the layout. Now you can see the command station down in the lower right corner of the picture there. The back of the UP5, since the command station is off to the right there, this LocoNet cable comes from the command station in. This LocoNet cable goes out, and you can just daisy chain them together however many you'd like. Like I say, this one just goes to the UP5 that I just showed putting it back together. So I'm going to do the same thing here, just take this one apart, take these cables out, and go ahead and put it back together like the other one. So here's my screw, magnetic screwdriver. Going to take the components, lay it together. Okay, that screw head is started. The other screw head started here. Okay, so now I'm going to take my cable, feed it through from the back. That's the one comes from the command station. This is the this one here goes to the other UP5 on the other side of the layout. Get my screw. Get at least one of them started here. I know some of you are thinking, man, those silver screw heads stick out. I agree with you, but what I can do is I can come back later and just spray some of that anodized bronze paint in like a little plastic cup and take a brush and paint over the screw heads, and you won't even notice it. once we get all 4 of these started. Well, that's all put back together, and I think it looks pretty good. Well, for those inquiring minds about the height of my bench work and my layout, as you can see, my bench work is about 36 inches high. 2-inch piece of foam puts us about 38 inches off the finished floor. Well, that pretty much does it for this episode of Workshop Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or topics for Workshop Wednesday that you'd like to see, go ahead and put them in the comment section and I'll see if I can get around to them. As always, thanks for watching.